Finally, I'm getting around to doing another Q&A video. It's been a while, it's long overdue. So I asked a bunch of you on Instagram and Facebook to shoot me some Q&A questions, and I'm just going to dive in there because I got a lot of questions. What advice do you have for mums with bipolar disorder? Any tips for coping on high/low days? I find myself taking care of everyone else first and letting my own mental health needs fall by the wayside. It's difficult to kind of give advice, and just say this is specifically for bipolar people, because even within the bipolar spectrum, bipolar people, they have lots in common, but they also have a lot of differences between them all. The only advice that I can give really is from my own perspective as a bipolar person, but my type of bipolar. With my bipolar comes anxiety and depression. I also have a thyroid problem which comes and goes, hypothyroidism, something to do with the thyroid gland in your neck, which also doesn't help because that affects the chemical imbalance and the hormonal imbalance. And that with bipolar is a pain in the arse. So it's very difficult for me to give advice, so bear that in mind. I can give advice from my perspective, but it's coming from my perspective. And what I would say is, remember to slow yourself down. I think that this can kind of count for both of the moods, because you need to remember that you're a person as well, and you need to take a minute to just try and slow down, because you'll be making this mental to-do list, and depending on the mood that you're in, you'll either be flying through it and feeling like lightning, just gliding through it, just like whoof, or you'll just be very dragging yourself through it. There's not really ever an in-between. And I'd say that as a parent, the best advice that I can give you is to use your daughter or your son, as your motivation. Your motivation to kind of get yourself out of the mood that you're in, dependent on what mood that is. And also, I would say that if you're feeling hypermanic, but not specifically really hypermanic, where you've got the buzz, the energy, and you feel like you really need to do something and you're kind of feeling a little bit anxious and you're starting to feel a little bit agitated. Depending on how old your child is, with Athena I find that I love taking her for walks, because I love kind of exercising as well as doing something with her, taking her to the park. And I find that distractions, aka activities with your child, really do help, because not only are you distracting yourself, but you're having fun with your child and you're just focusing all of this positive energy on your child. And I think that it's very important to kind of establish the symptoms of the mood that you're in, and establish where you are, how you're feeling, soak in your environment, and take into consideration, whatever it is that you're doing, and kind of just focus on it. Try and take all of the energy that you've got, whether it's going to be agitated or whether you've got no energy at all. What you kind of really need to just do is pull yourself out of it and just try and focus. The best thing that I can say is just turn all the agitation into motivation, really. And I know that it's difficult when you're in the more low phase and you're getting agitated and angry and stuff, but I find that I never really ever actually feel that way around Athena. It's very rare. But if you've got your partner there or your husband or whoever in the room, then you can take 5 minutes to kind of just relax, for 5 minutes, because when you're a parent you're always on the go and you forget that you're a person too. So I think it's very important to focus on that. What advice would you give to someone who's about to have their first baby in 5 weeks' time and suffers with anxiety? Tips for labour, etc. Well, I find that most of the population, literally, whether or not you suffer from anxiety or not, most women tend to be quite anxious about the birth of their first child. And then as an anxious person or an extra sensitive person, it becomes even more overwhelming, because women start to find the motivation and kind of find the place, and you still kind of feel like everything's going to go wrong, and you've got all of this worry and this stress that everything that could go wrong is going to go wrong, and you're kind of carrying that burden. The best thing to do is kind of separate yourself from that and focus on the outcome, which is going to be your beautiful baby, and it's going to be amazing, and you're just going to be it's going to be the best day of your life, even though you're going to be in pain. All of this hard work throughout the whole pregnancy is going to end in something amazing. All that hard work, all of the negative parts of pregnancy are just going to fade and disappear when you hold your child in your arms for the first time. It's the best feeling in the world. As someone who suffers from anxiety, it's not only does becoming a parent kind of increase certain aspects of it, because you worry more in general, because then you're worrying about another person that's not you. It has its negatives, but it also has its positives, because it kind of gives you more motivation to be the best person that you can be, because you have to work 10 times harder, I think, as someone who suffers from anxiety or depression or any mental illness. Or even if you're just anxious and you're not technically clinically anxious. I would say listening to music really helps. It's like if you're into music, if you're not really into music, maybe some breathing exercises will help. Like I learned all of these breathing exercises before I had Athena, but it all ended up backfiring on me. So I'll have to tell that all in my labour and delivery video, which still isn't up yet, my apologies. Originally, I was gonna get Niall to film it with me, and then he let me down, so I will film it on my own at some point soon, I promise. It's a good job I've got this all written down, because after having Athena and also throughout the process when I was in labour, I was writing little things down so I didn't forget, and I've also got this big folder which kind of has by the minute, you know, the whole process. Like literally it was a printout from the hospital that I've got, so I can go off that as well, and I'm pretty sure that'll just all come flooding back to me. But anyway, slightly off topic, music really helps. I was listening to music in the bath and I was just trying to relax myself. Also, if you've got a partner, you know, if you're not doing this on your own, because I don't know your circumstances, getting them to like rub your back or like massage your shoulders or just talk to you and distract you or make you laugh, that really, really helps. The more stressed you are and the more anxious you are, the more likely things are going to go wrong. And I know that sounds scary, but kind of use that to your advantage in a mental way and kind of think, your blood pressure is raised when you're stressed, so you don't want to raise blood pressure when you're giving birth because you're already in stress. So the less stress, the better really. But don't put so much pressure on yourself to perform, because at the end of the day, your body is naturally going to go with the flow. No matter how many, you know, breathing exercises you've learned and stuff, what's meant to be is meant to be. So kind of cocoon yourself in the comfort of you are a strong, empowered individual and you've got this. Anxious or not, you can do this. You can do this. I know you can do this. Our bodies are made for this. So remember that, like, you've got this. Motivational playlist / uplifting songs. So that kind of refers back to what I was talking about with labour as well, by the way. What I did was I made a playlist full of my favourite songs, or songs that would motivate me and keep me going or relax me, like this massive collection of songs. So I'll just throw that in there. Now we've kind of gone on to that subject, because that's what I was trying to put into words, and for some strange reason I'd forgotten the word playlist. Labour playlist, it's a good idea, literally. It's a really good idea. And also now looking back, I can look at the songs and I can kind of associate them with the stages of labour I was in. And I can also remember the songs that I gave birth to. And by the way, Athena was born to Queens of the Stone Age. Just saying. I'm pretty proud of that. I'm pretty happy with that. Motivational playlist / uplifting songs. Oh, I could be here forever. I could just put a selection of them in the down bar maybe, but what I'm going to tell everybody is Better Nature, Silvers and Pickups. It just came out. Go and get it. No, I'm not being paid to say this. Silvers and Pickups are one of my favourite bands, like, in the whole entire world. Like, they are in my top 3. Like, I love them more than anything. They have not made a song that I dislike, and Better Nature is amazing. From start to finish, the whole record is phenomenal, and that is really motivational to me, and inspirational and everything. They're really, really good at bringing out all of that raw emotion in me. They have a song for everything for me. So if you're looking for motivation or something to kind of just give you a little bit more drive or anything, or just make you feel better, try Silvers and Pickups. I love them. I really, really love them. They're amazing. So check them out. How do you motivate yourself to make music when self-doubt gets in your way? Self-doubt is always getting in my way when it comes to me and my music. Like, all of the time. And I hate to admit it, and I hate that that's the case, but it's true. I doubt myself a lot. I used to have a lot more confidence in my music than I do now, because I think I know that I used to be a lot better at playing the guitar than I am now. So it takes me a little bit longer to kind of learn things now. Like, I can still pick things up when I'm listening to them, like I used to be able to, but not as quickly. Like, I used to be able to listen to a song and be able to play it on the guitar, and I can't do that really anymore. It takes more effort. So I can do it, it just takes a lot more effort. So noticing little things like that, that disheartens me. What keeps me going is moments when I'm just singing and the kettle's boiling, or I'm walking around the house and singing, and I'm not really focusing too much on it, and I'm hitting the notes and I'm feeling it, and it reminds me that it's in there and it's never going to go away. Because if you're a musician in here, then you always kind of carry that. And I think that if you're passionate about your music, it comes through your music and people can see how passionate you are about it. So you don't have to be perfect. That's something that I need to tell myself more often, to be honest, because I really do self-doubt myself a lot when it comes to my music. And I shouldn't, and you shouldn't either. So just put all of that emotion and all of that ambition and all that drive and passion into what you love whether it's music or not, and it should just flow naturally. You're surrounded by this idea of perfection, but every real musician out there knows that that's a lie. Where do you find artistic inspiration, or is your creativity dominated by the EBB and flow of your moods? I'm more creative when I'm on an upswing, but some of my best work happens when I'm feeling low. I agree with you. I find that I'm mostly inspired by the things that make me feel the most, whether or not that's anger, pain, or happiness. Anything in my life that makes me feel something, like really feel something, that inspires me, and that kind of flicks the creative light bulb on in my head. I don't know, that upswing, when something's making me really agitated and something's really hurt me, the combination of those two emotions tends to give me some kind of drive and energy, some weird energy, and I use that energy to my advantage, and I kind of ride the creative stream of thought when I'm kind of feeling that way. But also when I'm more positive, I'm more productive, so I'm more likely to create something that's more, let's say, visually pleasing to everybody else, whereas when I'm in a little bit of a down spell, I'm more likely to create something that's more personal to me, that I'm still proud of, but let's say isn't as visually pleasing to the world around me. What I like to do is advocate how real that down spell is for me. And with all of my video art, it's all inspired by my life and the things that I feel. Through every little moment in my life, the things that affect me and make me stop and think about my life, I make video art through that. And you'll see throughout my channel, throughout the years, there's little bits of video art here and there, and it all conveys the feelings that I've felt at that time in my life, and I can go back to it and I can look at it, but it also shows me a different perspective of different feelings and different thoughts, different predicaments, different situations in my life. My video art, in a way, kind of tells the story of my life, but through different depictions. I would definitely say that I'm inspired by both moods, like by both parts of my bipolar. However, when I'm manic, I would definitely say that is when I'm at my best creatively, because I feel like when I'm manic, everything is limitless and there's so many options and everything is so much more vibrant that I feel it more. But it's hard for me to execute it if I'm too manic, because I'm too agitated to focus. I need to find that balance when I'm on and up before I get too up there, because if I get really, really up there, that's when I want to go on my bike and listen to music and get rid of the energy, because it's like a feeling of pent-up frustration that's just stuck inside my body unless I exercise, you know, unless I do something to just kind of let it out. I used to run, but now that I have a bike, I'd much prefer, you know, getting on my bike and just pedaling really, really fast and going down hills and stuff, listening to like Silverson Pickups, loving life. Bit of a long answer to that question, but I hope that helps. How do you deal with people being hostile towards you for being a parent with alternative style? Seriously, how does it affect anybody else other than me what I look like or how I'm dressing? I could say you're too beige for my liking. I could say I don't like your beige trench coat because I like my black one better. I don't like your Nike trainers because I'd much rather wear Doc Martens or Converse. All of the clothes are too beige and I don't like beige, so everybody right now in the universe that's wearing beige, that's my opinion on it. I don't want to wear beige right now, so I'm not wearing beige, but if you're wearing beige, it's none of my business, you know? If you want to start a Facebook page because you love beige and it's the best colour in the world, and there's a style called beige instead of alternative, gothic, you know, all of this stuff, it's just beigist. You're a beigist because you're proud of being beige and you believe in everything beige. You know what I mean? People just chat. Seriously, just dress however you want to. Someone's gonna pull up a picture of me wearing beige makeup, beige lipstick and beige clothes somewhere now. It's probably one somewhere on the internet. Shout out to Opinion Outpost for sponsoring this video, and if you've not heard about Opinion Outpost, then where have you been? Opinion Outpost are a survey site that'll pay you to basically fill in surveys. So if you've got spare 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, you know, that's kind of the length of the majority of their surveys, and you've got a coffee or a cup of tea or something, then why not fill in a survey for some extra cash? Because why not? Why not? It's free to join, and they give away a bunch of awesome stuff like Amazon gift cards, iTunes gift cards, and obviously cash. And the stuff the surveys are about are just stuff that we all know about, like food, TV shows, the list goes on. The requirements are pretty basic. You must be at least 18 years old. So it's pretty simple. You give all of this information to research companies and they pay you for it in wonderfulness. I'll leave the link to Opinion Outpost in the description bar. Sometimes when Opinion Outpost will contact you, sometimes it'll go into your spam folder. So always check that if you're wondering where the hell your new survey is and you're kind of like, signed up for this website. Where's my surveys? Are you planning on getting more tattoos? If yes, then what would you like to get? There are lots of things. I'm feeling a Silver Sun Pickups tattoo. I'm also feeling another Arctic Monkeys tattoo. And there's also one I want to get for Texas, and there's also another one that I wouldn't mind getting behind my ear. What are the plans for your hair? Well, when I uploaded the picture to Instagram that had the question asking you guys to ask me questions, asking you guys to ask me questions. When I uploaded that photo, I had blonde hair, so I was deciding, I was stuck. I decided to go for silver, and it ended up coming out a little bit more purple, but I'm not complaining because it's got like these really cool like grey bits like in the bottom of it. I just kind of wanted something that I'd not had before. I'll probably never get another opportunity to actually go grey because my hair was so blonde, like bar a little tiny bit of tinged green at the bottom. They just seemed like the perfect base to go grey, and I really like it. Like, a lot of you guys commented on that video that I posted and were like, grey, 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 grey. So when I was in the salon, I thought, let's go grey. So technically speaking, my subscribers and my followers chose this hair colour. All of you guys chose this. It is quite bizarre. It's probably showing up a little bit more purple than it is in real life, but she said that it'll kind of fade more white and grey in areas, and at the bottom it's kind of all storm-like, which is pretty cool. I'll zoom in on it. I love all those different gradients. I just wanted something that I'd not had, because there isn't anything that I've not had now, really. Kind of feel like I've gone through a blue rinse. I can't wait till I naturally go grey/white, because I'll just be able to dye loads of cool colours over it. What film do you connect with the most? My good friend Shona asked me that one. I love you, Shona. I love you, Shona. I love film, so it's really difficult for me to pick one film. There's lots of films out there that really connect with me, like, in so many ways, but for one purpose alone, I'm just going to mention this one because it was the first one that came to my head and I really wanted to answer a question, even though she gave me one of those questions that you just hate answering because I could not think of one. But that one did stand out to me, and that's The Truman Show. And you may be like, huh, well, I kind of always felt like I was in The Truman Show because of the way that everything pans out in my life. Everything seems to go bizarrely wrong, and my life is ridiculously eventful, almost like a soap. And it's like, my life is never dull for 1 minute. There is always something bizarre happening, or something is always going on in my life. Like, it is very rarely just nothing. And kind of in The Truman Show, how all of these little things are kind of set in place so that they naturally happen by the way in which everything is controlled, because it's kind of like Big Brother in a way, isn't it, The Truman Show? Because everyone's just watching this show, which is him just living his life and he has no idea, and then he tries to escape. I really hope that no one out there has not seen The Truman Show now, because I have just messed that up for you, haven't I? I've just pretty much told the synopsis in like 10 seconds. So I really hope I haven't ruined that film for anyone. Yeah, I just always felt like I was in The Truman Show, and I'm always joking with my friend Joe about it as well. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and until next time, bye!